So today I'm going to reveal to you an awesome piece of tech that has transformed the way that I shoot my handheld videos. And if like me you're using your mobile phone to create videos, this might be of interest to you. Hello everyone, it's SpawnPoiint and welcome back to another video. So today we're going to take a look at an item that I picked up a couple of months ago with the sole intention of improving my handheld content. So on my channel I shoot quite a lot of handheld videos. You might have noticed this when I'm panning around my car or even during some of my house tour videos such as my TV setup or my desk setup. Well, up until May I was actually recording all of these videos on my iPhone, handheld, with nothing more than the iPhone's internal stabilization. I mean, those shots are pretty decent, but they could have been smoother. So I had a few choices if I wanted to improve. I could stop the handheld shots altogether and move to, say, a tripod. I could buy a shoulder rig or a cage, or I could go for a mobile gimbal. Well, I decided on a gimbal, and the DJI Osmo Mobile 3 looked the best fit. It's a known brand and it's pretty affordable, especially for what you get. And actually, do you know what? I'm not going to bore you with an unboxing. I'm not going to go through the specs or what every button does or doesn't do. I'm just going to let the footage do the talking, and then if you like it, stick around to the end and we'll go over that stuff later. So let's just jump straight in, and I'll show you just how good this is. Then I'll compare a few shots side by side with the iPhone 11 Pro, with the stabilization versus the gimbal, and then you can be the judge for yourself and let me know if the gimbal really is worth it. So this first shot here is me just walking. I'm walking at a steady pace, with the gimbal at arm's length. I'm not even using the DJI app here at all. I've just powered the gimbal on, selected the iPhone's internal camera and just hit record. And it's so smooth, there's no vibration at all. It almost looks like I'm using a dolly or a skateboard here as I'm panning sideways. So far, really impressed with this, it's just super smooth. What's great about this gimbal is it not only stabilizes your footage, but it actually makes it easier to hold your phone at arm's length too. You can literally do everything one-handed. Okay, so now here's an extreme example of what the iPhone 11's internal stabilization can handle when running. So here I'm running after my son, with the iPhone held in front, and I'm trying to stabilize it as best as I can. He's pretty fast too. So it's not bad. I mean, the vibration is minimal, but you can clearly see it's not really that steady. It's rocking and swaying side to side. There's no denying that this definitely looks handheld. Okay, now here's a comparison shot. This time with another contestant in the race and the gimbal setup. Wow, this is super smooth. So again, I'm running, but there's no vibration, there's no swaying at all. So that 3-axis gimbal is really covering all bases for up, down, left, right and tilt. And like I say, bearing in mind, I am actually running here. I mean, it looks like I'm on a bike, it's just so smooth. So let's try and see what they look like side by side. This should give us a good comparison of the two similar shots, the two similar videos, one with and one without the gimbal. Pretty clear winner here. But honestly, how often do you actually run and record anything? So this is quite an extreme case, but I just thought I'd demonstrate it anyway. So now let's do the same thing again but walking. Maybe a bit more realistic for most situations that you'd be in. So here I'm walking after my son. I've got my iPhone in both hands to try and stabilize it as best as I can. And again, it's not too bad. So vibration is minimal, I mean practically none at all. But you can see that it's moving up and down, it's not really that steady. And now we've swapped to the gimbal again, walking at a steady pace. And once again, it's really smooth. Hardly any movement at all, no vibration, no tilting. Nothing to distract the viewer from the video that you're watching. And here are the same two walking shots side by side, and it's only really now when you see them side by side the difference, and the gimbal just makes everything look that little bit more professional. So watching these clips back now and knowing that I was actually running here, it's hard to believe how the gimbal is this good. Honestly, it's just like gliding along. It's a game changer for me, not only for my videos on YouTube but my normal days out too. Then swapping back to the iPhone without a gimbal attached, I mean, you can see the stabilization here trying to work, it's trying to kick in, but it's just not good enough. And here you can see what the gimbal looks like when you're using it. So I was a little bit worried before I picked it up, thinking it might look a little bit odd when you're carrying it around. I thought it might look like a selfie stick, but I'm pretty confident with it now, and obviously it makes your videos look that so much more professional as well. So now we've seen some side-by-side comparisons on how it handles running and walking, which is really impressive. I want to show you how it makes your footage that little bit better. So another awesome feature of the Osmo Mobile 3 is the ability to use the DJI's app, which is honestly packed with features. Most of these features I'll never use. In fact, I don't even use the DJI app, I just use the iPhone's normal camera app. But one feature that I really like in the app is the tracking. And this is where you draw a box around an object or a person, exactly the same as you do with the DJI drones, and it'll lock on and it'll track them. So here I'm locking onto my son, and as he's walking and we're both moving, the gimbal is locking on and keeping him in the frame at all times, regardless of where I'm pointing my arm. And then here I've locked onto my wife, and as I walk around her, the gimbal will rotate itself and keep her in the shot at all times. So I picked up the DJI Osmo Mobile 3 for £99 or $99. And if you go for the combo kit, you get the hard case, you get the Osmo itself, and then you get a tabletop stand, so it acts like a tripod, and then you get a fabric pouch. You also get some foam pads and a charging cable too. So I store mine in the hard case at all times, and I keep it on my shelf, so I can just grab it every time that I leave the house or go for a walk. It's just a shame that the tripod itself doesn't actually fit in the case with the Osmo. So setting it up is really easy. You power it on, you make sure that it's charged, then you install your phone. You want to make sure that you follow the first setup instructions for balancing it. And once you've done it a few times, you'll work out where the sweet spot is every time. I don't even need to check the balancing anymore, as I know exactly where my phone should sit. And by the way, I'm actually using the iPhone 11 Pro Max with a case on, and although I read comments and reviews before purchasing online saying that this combo doesn't work, I can tell you that it does, and I've had no issues at all. So to power it on, you just press and hold the power button, it'll wake it up and it'll check to make sure that your phone is centered and is balanced. So your phone connects to it via Bluetooth, which means that there are no cables to worry about, and while you're connected, the buttons on the gimbal will control the camera too. So you can stop and start the recording without having to use your other hand to tap the screen, for example, just by tapping the red button on the gimbal. You can change the camera orientation from landscape to portrait just by double tapping the power button, which is pretty cool as well if you want to get those Instagram stories. You can also pan left, right, up and down just by using the small joystick too. So I've changed the settings in the app so it moves it at the slowest possible speed, ideal if you want to get those really smooth panning shots while in tripod mode. You can also zoom in and out too, just by pressing and holding on the side buttons forwards or backwards. All of this without moving your hand from the tripod and needing to touch the screen at all. It's pretty light too, and because of the way that the handle is designed, it's really easy to hold, it's not uncomfortable at all. Then when you're not using it, just triple tap the power button and it'll put it into a standby mode, which means that the gimbal isn't being used and it's saving you battery when you need it. Then to wake it again, you either triple tap the home button again or just press the trigger on the rear. So as it's battery powered, it'll need charging to use. So from my experience, that's about every 2 or 3 weeks, but the battery indicator will give you enough warning with the LEDs on the front. DJI say that you'll get about 4.5 hours out of it, and that's probably about right. It's not likely that you'll use it much more than that in a single sitting either. So it comes with a tripod too if you go for the combo kit, which means that it'll sit on a tabletop or the floor, but also the Osmo itself can be mounted to any normal tripod too, as the bottom of it has a 1/4 inch threaded hole. This means it'll fit onto any tripod, big or small, so you don't have to use the provided DJI tripod if you have another that you'd rather stick with. And that kind of wraps up this week's video. I think this little mobile gimbal is awesome and it's well worth the £99 or the $99 price tag. It really does make your footage super smooth and a little bit more professional too. And if you've got any questions about this product or this gimbal at all, just drop them in the comments and I will get back to you. And as always, thank you for watching. And if this video was useful to you or you're interested in seeing more tech videos, please don't forget to like and subscribe. You can also follow me on my other social channels too, including Twitter and Instagram. Until next time.